A very good evening to all the participants. I am Ashish Mangal, Advisor, Forum for Democracy, and I welcome you all for an online discussion series on National Eligibility Test 2020, The Road Ahead. And today's topic is Net Law 2020 Planning and Preparedness. We have with us Mr. Amit Raj Agarwal, moderator for the session. He has vast professional experience with the government, non-government, and corporate sectors. He has also taught at various colleges and universities, included Delhi University, Rao IA Study Circle at New Delhi. He has cleared his UGC JRF in the very first attempt. He has also been awarded prestigious Professor KNC Pillai Gold Medal for his outstanding performance in criminal law during his LLM program at the Indian Law Institute. Recently, he authored a book titled Religious Freedom in Secular Democracy of India, a Constitutional Perspective. Mr. Amit is a faculty of constitutional law, administrative law, and criminal law. I welcome Mr. Amit and request him to proceed with the discussion. Amit, over to you.
Thank you, Ashish, for such a warm introduction. A very good evening to everyone present here. I welcome you all to this online discussion series on National Eligibility Test 2020, The Road Ahead. I am Amit Raj, associated with Forum for Democracy as a legal advisor and legal researcher. Forum for Democracy is a not-for-profit and independent non-governmental trust based out of Delhi. Its mission is to help promote the dignity and betterment of life of citizens in a democracy. Forum for Democracy undertakes activities with an aim to help underprivileged children, women, senior citizens, and youth. Forum for Democracy empowers youth with appropriate guidance and help young people understand their learning needs and career preferences based on their strength and characteristics. One of the flagship program of Forum for Democracy is Learn FFD. We call Forum for Democracy as FFD in short. Under this program, we provide comprehensive and expertise guidance for the preparation of UGC NET JRF exam for social work, law, and political science. Learn FFD is a NET JRF study program designed and implemented by a highly qualified group of experts, professors, development sector specialists, and IAS officers. It is a specialized multi-layered course curriculum aiming at holistic knowledge building that encompasses modern methods of teaching and learning. Its simple and sustainable course framework having real-time automated system of upgradation and assessment, making it possible for students to access from anywhere. We have customized test series to help each student realize full potential and work on areas of improvement. Reasonable fee structure with merit and reason-based fellowship scholarship. The preparation strategy of Learn FFD includes online practice tests, periodic progress evaluation, online course material, exhaustive reference list. Participants, you all must be knowing that UGC NET or the National Eligibility Test or NTA UGC NET determines the eligibility of an individual for the post of an assistant professor or junior research fellowship in all the Indian colleges and universities. The benefits of clearing the exams include opportunity to join top universities as an assistant professor, opportunities to do paid research work on legal issues, better career prospects in government jobs, eligible for the award of fellowship for the legal research, depending upon the performance in UGC NET JRF exam, career opportunities and better job prospects in public sector undertaking. So to provide the participant with holistic and expertise guidance on the subject of law for UGC NET JRF examination, to answer to their questions, queries on the subject of UGC NET JRF law examination, and to provide them with time management strategy and how to make judicious use of resources, we have with us experts Dr. S. Bala Murali and Mr. Rajnish Jindal for both paper 1 and paper 2. Dr. S. Bala Murali is joining us to provide effective guidance for cracking paper 1. He will discuss strategies, tips, time management, planning, and algorithmic thinking. Sir has done his MBA in finance and marketing. He is also qualified UGC NET with many years of experience in teaching, training, placements, and service marketing. Sir has also trained teaching professionals on the NTA NET trainings. A warm welcome to you, sir. May I please request you to enlighten our NET JRF aspirants on paper 1? Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Bala, sir, before you could go any further, I would request all the participants to feel free to put their questions in the chat box, because after the session, we'll be taking your questions in the question answer round. सभी पार्टिसिपेंट से मैं अनुरोध करूंगा कि आपके जो भी क्वेश्चंस हों तो प्लीज चैट बॉक्स में आप अपने क्वेश्चंस डाल सकते हैं. हम क्वेश्चंस को अभी सेशन के बाद लेंगे. थैंक यू. सर प्लीज you may proceed.
Okay, sir. Very good evening to one and all present here. First of all, I would like to thank Forum for Democracy for giving me this opportunity to serve here. So how many of you are appearing first time for NET examination? Before getting into the tips and all those things, I would like to know how many of you are appearing for the first time?
So their mics are muted, I think.
Sir, my mic is working. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are perfectly audible. Please proceed.
Fine. Hope you are all seeing the screen which I am sharing right now. PPT, correct? Are you all seeing the PPT?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So before getting into the PPT, I would like to know how many of you are appearing for the first time. Because those who are fresh graduates, those who are appearing for the first time, there is a possibility of getting through. Because these fresh graduates from any discipline, they have the subject touch. Example, they completed their degree in 2020 June and they appear in the September NET examination. The possibility is very high. But for those who are having much more experience in the field as a professor, and for those people, they should take double the effort. Because the first and foremost problem for the teacher, they are all confined with the particular papers. They are not comfortable in taking all the papers. So they say that these 3 or 4 disciplines are more than enough. 4 specializations I will take. So they get mastery in those 4 specializations, there is no doubt in that. But they become a beginner in the remaining papers. Okay. So before preparation phase, syllabus-wise ideas to prepare, collect materials and organizing them. See, paper 1, you no need to worry. There are a lot of good materials in the market. It is flooded already. The market is saturated, I can say. But for paper 2, whatever the discipline you belong to, it may be law, management, commerce, whatsoever, there is no single book in the market. You need to prepare for it. Okay, how to collect a quality material? For example, research methodology is there in the syllabus, correct? Paper 1. Which is the best book for research methodology? Any idea? Who is the best author as far as you know? International or national standard author. For all social sciences, we used to say C.R. Kothari. See, I'm not marketing any books here. Try to understand. If you want to take quality notes, you should take from quality books. That's it. The logic is very simple. For example, mathematical reasoning. R.S. Agarwal is a very famous author across India. Like this, for every subject in your paper 2, for every subject, there is a standard author. See, I don't say you should study the entire book of 1,000, 2,000 pages. No. What are all the pages matching with the syllabus? Just to take photocopy of that, or just to take notes from the pages and keep it handy. Then start studying from the notes. Whenever you study from your own handwriting, that will get into your memory quickly. And you can retain it for a long term. So this is syllabus-wise ideas to prepare or collect materials for all the units of paper 1 and paper 2. Number 2, understanding the SWOT of the NET aspirants to get direction to success. For example, you may be good at, let us say, teaching aptitude, let us say communication unit, let us say people and environment. Since majority of you are from law, so you may be good at Indian Constitution, higher education part. So try to know your strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So this will help you to narrow down your focus on the particular subject matter. So you should study up to 8 units if you want to crack. But 8 units should be in a mastery level. If you are going to study all the 10 units, I am not against it. Since the time is limited, you can devote it for 8 units. Remaining 2 units, you can attempt with your existing knowledge. Don't worry about that. Have your study plan, lesson plan versus time plan. Have it. Lesson plan versus time plan. That is your timetable. And difference between MCQ or DQ paper. So DQ is a descriptive paper. So whenever you are attempting a descriptive paper, if your presentation is good, your grades are good. But that is not the same case with MCQ paper. In MCQ paper, you must be conceptually strong. And all the questions are indirect. Majority of the time, questions are indirect, mixed with reasoning part. So paper 2, they are asking like assertion reasoning, statement conclusion in that method. It is not a direct question. They will not ask you what is contract, but they will ask you which of the following is not the feature of contract. Because no book talks about a non-feature category. Every book talks about a feature category. So if you have gone through the quality material features of contract, you can easily crack it. Clear? So time management in the examination hall. First of all, you should answer to those questions which you know very well. The last 10 minutes you can play with the questions, but not in the first 10 minutes. Let us assume 20 minutes over in the examination hall. Your brain says all the first 15 questions you attempted are perfect, are correct. What happens now? Your confidence level goes up. So the next 10 to 15 questions with that positive attitude and positive note, you could go off well. The same case, if you are attempting randomly the first 20 questions and suddenly your brain says, I am doubtful about all the questions you attended. And I could say majority of them are incorrect. So what happens now? The confidence level comes down. The known question may go wrong. The answer for the known question may go wrong. So attempt it in a logical way. Attempt it the questions you know first. Tips to study in a systematic way. What is systematic way? Systematic way refers to having your timetable in such a way that your brain keeps on getting interest and motivation to study more and more. How to do that? What is the attention span of the student? Any idea? In the classroom, what is the attention span of the student?
$25.
25 minutes, 45 minutes, somebody replied. Okay. Any other difference of opinion? 15 minutes, very good, ma'am. 10 to 15 minutes, that is the maximum attention capacity of every student. Then why the hour is fixed for 45 minutes? That's a different story. You are moving from one classroom to another classroom 5 minutes. Okay. Then taking attendance 5 minutes. Then recapping yesterday's session and telling the objectives of today's session 5 minutes. Then 15-20 minutes at a stretch you take classes. Then 5 minutes for Q&A. Then 5 minutes for taking rest, because the next class may be a continuous session. Okay. So the classroom session 45 minutes doesn't mean that you should take all the 45 minutes classes. 10 to 20 minutes, that is the maximum time span the student can listen. So when you are reading also, the same thing will happen. When you are reading from your own book, the same thing will happen. What happens? After 30 minutes, you feel the boredom, fatigue, tiredness, and you want entertainment, so you close your book. The entire story ends here. It should not be so. So what has to be done? Systematic way of studying. Every 30 minutes once you change your subject matter. Every 30 minutes once you change your subject matter. For example, first 30 minutes I study, let us say, teaching aptitude. The next 30 minutes I study something like a company law. The next 30 minutes I study about civil law. Something like that, you keep on changing. So that every 2 hours once you should take a small break, let us say 10 minutes. And you should listen to music. You can watch a fish dish to bust your stress. Clear? So it is not that continuous studying, that's not possible. So this is what studying in a systematic way. Putting together paper 1 and paper 2, your paper 2 is having more syllabus than paper 1. Okay. But I could say for any discipline, you should allot 6 hours per day for preparation. It is not attested 6 hours. Early morning 4 to 6, one slot. Afternoon 2 to 4, you may be free, another slot. Evening 6 to 8, another slot, that could be okay. Or 1 hour here and there. Or 12 half an hours across the day. Whatever it may be. So a slow learner may require 6 hours definitely, but fast learners may require minimum 4 hours. So beyond that, preparation will be a big question mark. Okay. Memory techniques, acronym you can use, mnemonics you can use. Consistence and continuous preparation, what is that? You prepare for, let us say, 1 month. Okay. And there is a friend's marriage. You travel to other parts of nation. Let us say you are coming from north to south. And you stay here for 10 days without touching your books. Any idea what happens? If you are doing so, you are taking break for 10 days after 30 days of studying, what happens? Okay, let us take this example. You go to gym and with a good master, you exercise for, let us say, 1 month. Every day you spend around 3 hours in the gym, and after 1 month, you take a break of 15 days. Then you go back to gym. What happens now?
So everything becomes futile.
Yeah, your muscles will not support you, right? The same thing happens with your brain. Your neurons will not support you. So let us say you are preparing the NET examination for 6 months, let us say. If you're taking break in between for any occasion, see, 1 day could be okay, accepted. 2 days could be accepted, not beyond that. You will come back to square one. You will come back to the scrap position, starting from 0 to hero. So don't let that to happen. Okay, always prepare. See, this is a crucial time for you. You should prepare from previous year question paper. You start practicing. Hardly 15-20 days you are having for examination. So it is better to start from question paper preparation. How to do that? For example, 3 hours examination, take at a stretch 3 hours. Don't take a break. Don't take extra time. If it is 3 hours, you should stop by 3 hours. Don't take test from your mobile. Use your laptop. Mobile is always distracting because mobile is smarter than us. Okay. Always some push notifications will be there. You will not concentrate in the examination. Always use your laptop or computer for your examinations. So once you complete the examination, sit for a approach session. Okay. Every question has 4 options. Correct. One is the correct option. Remaining 3 are wrong one. Try to know the meaning for both the correct one and the wrong one. So by completing one question paper, 150 questions, right? One question paper, 150 question, 4 concepts per question. 150 into 4, 600 concepts per question paper. If you complete 10 question paper, 6,000 concepts. What does it mean? You are nearing to the success. Any discipline will be having 25 to 50,000 concepts, not more than that. Correct? If you know 6,000 or 14,000 concepts, you are nearing to the success. That's what the meaning is all about. Having a study group in WhatsApp or Facebook that you people are already doing well. Okay. Take as many as tests you can. Practice makes you perfect. Take test, evaluate yourself and see where you are strong and where you are weak. First, you need to study the areas which you are comfortable with. Then go to the difficult area. Initially, if you are dealing with a difficult question or difficult syllabus part, then your interest level will go down. Okay, there are 10 units, right? Teaching aptitude. First unit is teaching aptitude. So teaching aptitude, you can expect 3 questions from the syllabus, 1 question in general, and 1 question we cannot see. So teaching aptitude, there is no best book. Teacher psychology is a book which is for bachelors of education people study. So from education people, you can get the book if you want. Knowledge sake, it would be better. Second unit, research aptitude, C.R. Kothari. Third unit, communication or communication skills, Rajendra Paul. So the second unit, the most important area is types of research, research process, research ethics, formatting styles. These are very important. Communication, intercultural communication, under types of communication, communication and mass media, barriers of communication are important area. Then fourth unit, reading comprehension. So in reading comprehension, 1 question you need to avoid. What is that? The mindset of the author, mood of the author, topic of the passage. All those questions you should avoid. Remaining 4 questions, 3 questions definitely from the passage. The trick is you should read the question, then go to passage. Don't do the schooling practice. Schooling practice, they could have told you, read the passage twice. Read the passage twice, then go to the question. Don't do that. So when you read the question, what happens? There is something called selective reading happens. So you will find the answers easily. Okay. Always improve the reading speed. How to improve the reading speed? There are 2 exercises. One is mirror practice. Take a photograph in your mobile of the particular page. There is a mirror application in your mobile. Read it in the mirror view. That is from right to left. Usually we write from left to right. In the mirror view will be right to left. So right to left, start reading it. Another easy practice, keep the book upside down on your lap and start reading it from the bottom to top. So if you are doing this, the regular reading becomes a good speed. Usually our words per minute. Read any passage for 10 minutes, stop there. Count number of words you read, divided by 10. Definitely it would range from 40 to 120. If it is more than 80, no need to worry. If it is, let us say, less than 60, you should keep practicing. You should gradually increase your speed to reach the success. Next one is mathematical reasoning. Note it down. Percentage increase, decrease, average, ratio proportion, time and distance, time and work, geometry, number series, are highly important. Number 6, logical reasoning, inductive deductive reasoning, all those newly added Sanskrit versions like Indian means of knowledge, Indian logic means of knowledge, that part, connotation, denotation, formal and informal fallacies are highly important. And syllogism techniques you should know. Blood relationship directions are nowadays, they don't ask it. Anyway, knowing is not a sin. So just to have a look at it. 7th unit, data interpretations. Note down, only these questions will come. Average, percentage, percentage increase, decrease, ratio proportion, highest value, lowest value, summation, difference.
Sorry to interrupt, Bala sir, but there's a point.
Yeah.
Actually, the slide is not changing.
No, it is not in
Can
the
you
slide.
please take a look?
No, sir, it is.
All right. Then it's
not
fine.
possible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See, in mathematical reasoning include simplification, profit and loss. That also will be there. Okay, coming to unit number 8, ICT. See, ICT, basics of computer, one question about hardware, software, CPU, input, output devices. Okay, and one question is from internet, online classes, messengers, email, one question. ICT in higher education, that's one question. In research, you may expect ICT's applications in research, you may expect one question. And general abbreviations, you should go through. Okay, people and environment. 9th unit, people and environment. But before touching this unit for preparation, you should ask yourself one question. You should ask yourself one question. Your schooling schooling physics, chemistry, botany, zoology, geography should be strong. Because the environmental science or people and environment would revolve around all these concepts: physics, chemistry, botany, zoology, and geography. So if your schooling science is weak, then don't touch the unit just like that, because syllabus is vast. Without understanding, you cannot complete it. Okay. So while attempting examination also, if you are not strong in this unit, don't attempt first. Keep it in the last moment. Clear? Moving on. One question is from higher education. One question you can expect from energy, pollution, recent environmental summit, etc. Maybe from COVID, maybe from global warming, seasonal changes, climate change, all those things. Last unit, higher education, 4 questions are from, let us say, the powers of university, duties of the university, let us say the monitoring bodies like AICTE, NAC, NBA. And one higher education question may be from value education, environmental education, etc. And one question is from current affairs. Any recent changes UGC brought in the last 6 months that matters. Okay. And there may be a question from CBCS part. There may be a question from new education policy. Okay. Sometimes you can match question and answer by grammatical match and verbal association. It is also a possibility. There is a possibility to do a rational guess, not a blind guess. So whenever you see two options are matching for a particular question, ask yourself which answer is the most appropriate to the particular question. If that is so, that's your answer. Okay, if you attempt more and more questions, you will get examiner's perspective. Okay. So if you attend examination in the way I told you, that will boost your confidence. That is confidence booster. Attend the question in the logical order. It means the known question first, unknown question last. Eliminate the wrong one always, so that you are getting closer to the right answer. Sometime question to options, sometime option to questions. For some questions, if you operate directly, you will not get answers quickly. So rather you substitute from the options in a trial and error method, you will get it. These are the question types in paper 1 and paper 2. Write it down. Assertion, reason, statement, conclusion, statement, course of action, cause and effect, strong or weak arguments, match the following, etc. But after completing your examination, don't take a break. Keep on preparing till you get the result, till you see your name on the list, till you see you are getting qualified. Don't give up. Don't give up your practice. Because once you complete the examination, in the next 10 days, you will get the result. So don't give up your practice. Keep on practicing. If not by this time, definitely next time you will crack. Usually people start preparing, let us say before 10 days of the examination or 1 month of the examination. That doesn't work out for this examination. So this is paper format. Paper 1, 50 question, 100 marks. Paper 2, 100 question, 200 marks. Totally 150 questions, 300 marks, 3 hours. So this is for the statistics part. See, in June 2019, 9.42 lakhs people applied. Okay. How many people appeared? Only 6.81. It means 1/3 of the population don't even come for examination hall. Those who are going to take the examination in the September, definitely it will be even lesser than this count. Nearly 50% only attend, because we are not sure about the transport facilities. Okay. We are not sure about the count of COVID and the possibility of spreading. So considering that, definitely 50% or less than that will attend the test. So those who are going to attend the test are lucky. With low cutoff also, there is a possibility of qualification. Okay. Out of this 6,81,000 people, how many of them are getting pass? 50,000 assistant professors, 50,000 plus assistant professors, then 4,000 plus JRF, hardly 55,000 people gets passed. So this 50,000 people is your competition, not the 9.2 lakhs applying for the examination. Try to understand. Okay, any questions now? Okay, for questions are here. Good evening.
We will take all the questions towards the question and answer session. So
Okay.
that would be after when Rajneesh would complete his session.
Yeah.
Fine, sir. No problem. No problem. Carry
Thank
on.
thank you so much, sir, for your valuable inputs. You have covered the topics with minute possible detail. I'm sure participants have many things to take away. Now, I would like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Rajneesh Jinder. Sir has done his BCom, MCom, MBA, MPhil, LLB, LLM, UGC NET in management, and UGC JRF in law. At present, Sir is associated with Symbiosis Law School, Noida, as a faculty of law. Before this, he was associated with various business schools and universities in Delhi NCR. He has wide experience of industry and is also guiding IAS, judiciary, and UGC NET aspirants. Sir, greetings from Forum for Democracy. May I please request you to share your knowledge and experience with the participant as the subject expert. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, namaskar all of you. Namaskar, and thank you very much, Amit, and thank you very much, Ashish, as well as Nandini ma'am. And thank you very much, Forum for a Democracy, for providing this platform to me to share my experience of cracking UGC JRF in law, especially. Okay. So, sir, Bala sir has already given a lot of details. Even you can say the minor things which an aspirant of UGC NET should basically take care of. When we talk about the UGC or when we talk about any other competitive exam, so basically I will be highlighting upon the journal mistakes and then I will be coming upon how to hit the bullseye. Please remember this thing, how to hit the bullseye. That is the main important thing which all of you should remember. So whenever we say like what kind of mistakes we make, I just share my experience with all of you. When we actually heard about any exam, for example, just take an example of like judiciary. So in judiciary, you must be like thinking, ki, oh, we have to prepare for every kind of law, even without looking at the syllabus of particular state judiciary. We start preparing for the exam. Same thing happens, or even I would like to say, maximum in many cases, this thing happens in case of UGC NET, because when we see only syllabus of the UGC NET, so we simply see jurisprudence, public international law, commercial law, or we see law of torts, criminal law. When we see criminal law, it means, oh, okay, we have to cover IPC. That is the biggest mistake you are going to make. So what I mean to say over here, whenever you are preparing for any exam, just focus upon the contents of the syllabus first. Without focusing upon the syllabus, you will not basically reach anywhere. So this is the journal mistake which basically I have basically seen in my life when I was discussing this particular thing with my UGC NET aspirants. So this particular issue was being faced by all of them. So what exactly they were doing, they were simply preparing that particular, they were simply preparing for the exam by simply looking at the name of the subject. That was the biggest issue. So what I mean to say over here, when we are basically preparing about the law, and because this particular discussion is specifically with respect to law only, so I will be focusing upon from the perspective of law only. Okay. So what happens in case of like when we say UGC NET? So NET is basically, see, just take an example of any kind of competitive exam. They require a specific kind of knowledge only. Okay, they do not want you to be an expert of everything, because expertise comes with the passage of time. So no one is basically considering you right now as a specialist of a particular subject, or even they are not considering you that you might be knowing everything. We all are not Chitti. Okay, Chitti from the robot movie. We are not Chitti kind of thing. So we cannot remember, or we cannot basically learn everything, because this learning is a continuous process, and this happens with the passage of time only. So at the time of the examination, what exactly they are focusing and what exactly they want to know, they just want to check out how basically what kind of information they see in a particular situation, how you can deal with that particular thing. So in my case, basically in case of law subject, I'm just going to basically mention you one thing. You know that we have this law question paper, or this paper number 2, we have 100 questions of 2 marks each. Okay. And out of we see the candidates, basically they might be appearing for this exam in the month of September, which is scheduled from 16th to 18th, and then from 21st to 25th of this September, or they might be appearing later on. Okay, so for both of them, basically both kind of candidates, I would like to mention two things. Number one, we have to basically go with the holistic journey of preparing the subjects, number one, and then we have to prepare ourselves for the D-Day. So basically, you have to prepare yourself from two perspectives. One, your continuous journey of the learning will definitely help you out, and secondly, your the preparation which you have basically done, and then the last time preparation, or you can say the last time this D-Day preparation. So we have to prepare notes. That is the biggest requirement. And when we see the pattern of the subjects of this law paper, you can just figure out we have 10 different subjects, or you can say 10 different kind of like the papers. Okay, in this paper law, in this paper 2, that is of law. So we have 10 different topics. One is jurisprudence. I'm just going to mention you the weightage as well. When we talk about the jurisprudence, it is a journal pattern. If you analyze the previous year papers, it is journal pattern that we basically have 10 to 12 questions from the jurisprudence subject. So now we have 100 questions with us, and then you can simply bifurcate this entire 10 topics with you. In subject number 1, that is jurisprudence, it is of nearly, you can say, 10% of the weightage. Out of 10% of the weightage, what is the interesting part? They simply, if you analyze the previous year patterns, they basically focus mainly upon the, you can say, the jurists. What is the view of the like Salmon or the Jeremy Bentham or the Austin? So what I mean to say over here, you have to focus upon these kind of like, you can say, these statements made by these persons. So for example, when we talk about the Jeremy Bentham basically focuses upon he focused upon the utilitarian concept. So utility. So whenever this utility concept comes into any definition, then your mind should strike at the same time that, oh, it's Jeremy Bentham. Okay. When we talk about the positivism or the analytical positivism, then simply Austin. So what I mean to say, it is not possible for all of us to remember and to recall everything at a time, but we can basically use the the method of learning the things by, you can say, acronym or the mnemonics method. So what I mean to say over here, you have to basically analyze the previous year papers and just remember one thing. In the entire law paper, if you see, if you focus upon the syllabus number one, please remember one thing, just go by the contents of the subjects, whichever is being given under the UGC net. Because you cannot prepare UGC net by preparing for the judiciary exam, because the judiciary exam pattern is altogether different. But when we talk about the UGC net, so you have to specifically target upon the UGC net. So just take an example. In Mahabharat, at the last moment, when Duryodhan was given an option that whom he would like to challenge, then he chose Bhim. Suppose if he would have chosen Arjun or Nakul, Sahadev or Yudhishthir, then what would have been the outcome of the Mahabharat? So what I mean to say, you have to basically focus upon the contents of those subjects given in the syllabus. So for example, I'm just giving a brief example of the family law. In the family law, the biggest mistake which basically we make, we start reading the entire family law. It is not the solution. You have to focus upon, if you see the contents of the family law, then you will figure out it basically focuses upon the marriage and the dissolution of the marriage only. I am telling you, in the entire law previous this UGC net law previous year papers, the entire focus is upon the marriage, dissolution of the marriage, and the divorce. So what I mean to say, in the family law, your main focus should be upon these two topics. I am telling you this fact. If you analyze the previous year papers, when I cracked this UGC JRF, I basically went through the all previous year papers, and then I basically find out very interesting thing. By analyzing the entire previous year papers, basically I was having only 6 pages notes with me. Only 6 pages notes with me. And those 6 pages of notes of mine, they helped me in cracking my JRF exam. Because at the last moment, when I was basically about to appear for the exam, I was very relaxed because on those 6 papers, I was having entire thing with me because I was simply using the brain mapping technique. Because as I say, hedonism or the utilitarianism concept, it is basically concerned with the Jeremy Bentham only. So Jeremy Bentham, when we talk about family law, it is only about the, you can say, my marriage or dissolution of marriage or the, you can say, this divorce. Just take another example of commercial law paper. In commercial law paper, the total weightage is only 10%. But in commercial law paper, it covers Indian Contract Act. It covers special contracts. It covers Sales of Goods Act. It covers Partnership Act, Negotiable Instrument Act, Limited Liability Partnership Act. Then it covers company law as well, company law, and then it covers CSR. Is it possible for anyone to just decide 10 questions out of the entire syllabus of these subjects? So you can say 10 questions will come from 10 different subjects. So one subject will be having only one question. Is it possible for the human brain to basically recall everything and only appear for 10 questions, only to attempt 10 questions from these 10 different subjects? Just take another example, criminal law. In criminal law, the biggest mistake which we make, we focus upon, you can say, the criminal part, but we forgot about one thing, that is the journal principles of the criminal law. Just try to figure out the previous year papers of the UGC net. You will find that in out of criminal law, that is nearly 15% share. Criminal law subject is having 15% share, and out of 15% share, 7% share is from journal principles of the criminal law. Now you must be wondering here, how come this particular thing? See, being a teacher, because I am working in this particular thing since last 10 years, and what actually I have seen in my life, when as a teacher we are basically given a chance to make questions. So even even we are not, you can say, so smart that we can design, we can make questions at our own end, the fresh questions. So generally, what this is the general tendency of the teachers, what they do, they just figure out the previous year papers, and then they basically come out with the new type of question. But it is just, you can say, it is just the rephrasing of the previous year paper questions. So what I mean to say, if you focus only upon the previous year papers, then you will get a pattern, and the pattern is all questions are basically repeated, you can say, in active voice or passive voice form. Or you can say, you can basically figure out the basic common terms which are being used in the questions, by which you can relate, oh, this theory basically belongs with John Austin. Okay, or this theory, you are like, for example, pure theory of law, that is Kelson. So you can simply connect these words. So you are not supposed to remember each and everything, because it is the exam for the assistant professorship. It is not the exam for the, you can say, the Supreme Court judge. So they are not expecting you to be an expert of everything. They are simply expecting you to be clear about the basics. So if you are preparing for your UGC NET exam, and that exam is scheduled in the next year, then you, my only advice to all of you, please start analyzing the contents of the syllabus, and then start basically analyzing the previous year papers. I assure you, you will simply figure out the only few questions are repeating every year. So you remember, that in case of UGC NET, as Bala sir was absolutely, he was mentioning all, you can say, relevant information have been mentioned by Bala sir. The passing percentage, on an average, the passing percentage of the candidates is nearly 6%. So it doesn't matter whether you are basically cracking the exam. Ultimately, who is cracking the exam? It is a percentile kind of thing. So the persons who are lying in the top 6%, or you can say 7 or 8% per candidates, only those persons are basically going to be, you can say, eligible to be, like you can say, having this NET or JRF title with them. So main point is, for example, if I am taking an example of public international law, in public international law, the biggest blunder, I will not say mistake, it is blunder. The blunder is being made by the persons. They simply focus upon the public international law, and they simply start reading Malcolm Shaw. Oh, bhai, we are not supposed to go for the Malcolm Shaw. We are not going to appear for the ICJ. Okay, we are going to appear for the UGC NET, and UGC NET is not expecting you to be like, you are not appearing for the case of Kulbhushan Jadhav ji. You are appearing for simple exam, and for that purpose, you are supposed to have the basic understanding of the public international law, and you can simply refer H.O. Agarwal and just try to figure out the contents only. Because if you see the public international law, it only includes definitions, maximum questions. The public international law is having 10% weightage, 10%. After 10%, maximum weightage of the questions is being given to the definition part. Who said what? So basically, as per Salman or as per any other kind of person, what is public international law? You will definitely face one question or two questions from this definition part every year. So you can simply connect by recalling a basic word which is being used by one person in his definition. Similarly, when we talk about sources of international law, then recognition, nationality, immigration, extradition, and asylum. These are the main questions, main topics in which UGC NET is focusing every year. If you analyze the December 2019 paper, it was the difficult one as compared to the previous year papers. But remember one thing, when more candidates are appearing for the exam, then obviously it is going to be a little bit difficult. Okay. But ultimately, you can say your score should be high. And to basically get that score, for example, in case of public international law, another part is international humanitarian law. In international humanitarian law, they are basically asking about the various articles of, you can say, these the conventions of these United Nations about the human rights. Okay, so it is not feasible, and even if it is not advisable for all of you to recall every article. But what you can do, you can simply basically just scan this, just observe the pattern of the conventions, the articles of the conventions. You will simply figure out all conventions are moving in an order. So generally, in the papers, in the previous year papers, you will figure out they are basically asking for the years of that particular convention, or they are asking about the articles. Then you can simply relate which article would be coming after which article. So for example, if they are asking about the, for example, any right any provision of the right, then obviously it will come first. If they're asking about the duties or about the penalties, obviously it will come later on. So just figure out the articles, okay, the chronological orders of the things. Then simply you can just figure it out how to appear for this exam. The next advice is, next, and you can say the main advice, just go for all previous year papers very carefully and just do your brain mapping. Just try to link out which topics are basically repeated by the UGC NET every year, because they are not the god. They cannot basically come up with the new questions every time. So what they are doing, they are simply modifying. And believe me, as a teacher, I'm sharing my experience, my life experience. We as a teacher, we cannot make new questions every time. So generally what we do, we basically take questions from the previous year papers and we basically make them, we redesign them. Okay, so similarly you can say this is the Raman of cracking this exam. Just take another example. When we talk about this environmental law, in environmental law you will see a lot of topics are being given, but you know, the many questions from the environmental law topic that are which are coming in the exam are only about the cases, the judgments, the landmark judgments. For example, MC Mehta cases. MC Mehta sir has basically filed a number of cases, and there are various cases of MC Mehta sir. So they simply ask about a particular case about MC Mehta, ki which case is basically related with the which case of MC Mehta sir. So you can simply relate all those cases. For the cases part, this is my advice to all of you. Please go upon the DU website. On the DU website, you will see the study material. It is given free of cost. That DU study material, on the front page, the table of contents, all landmark judgments, topic wise, have been provided with. So simply just, for example, environmental law, on the DU website, download the PDF book of the environmental law. You will simply get the landmark judgments of the environmental law year wise and the topic wise. Okay, so just you will be having only 2 pages of environmental law with you, the cases. That's all. Now just Google it or just go through any of the book which you are having with you. I'm not saying you have to purchase any other book. Okay, just do only one thing, just download this book and just figure out the cases. Just prepare the list, okay, and just recall them every morning. So do it for only 7 days before the exam. And in the exam, whenever you will find any of the case, you will simply say, oh, this is the case. Just take an example of torts. In the torts, I'm just going to mention you one case. See, in case of torts, if you see, they basically ask the maxim damnum sine injuria. Maximum time they have asked this question. And I don't think so that you must not be aware about this particular thing. But the point is, we do not focus upon this. For example, just take another example. They basically ask about, like, for example, which is not a valid defense in tort: private defense, voluntary non-fit injuria, vis major, or ex dolo melo non oritor actio. So for example, so what exactly is this discussion is, what exactly I'm highlighting over here, for the purpose of UGC NET exam, you must have seen a number of persons who have basically done even PhD, but they are not UGC NET qualified candidates. So what I mean to say, UGC NET exam or be it any other exam, cracking of the exam is one thing and your knowledge is something else. So exam doesn't require your expertise. Exam requires your smartness. So be smart and just you will simply get this exam cleared. So number of persons, they do not get qualified this UGC NET exam or JRF exam because they do not prepare by looking at the contents of this syllabus. So what exactly I am highlighting over here in this my entire discussion, you have to focus upon the contents of each and every subject of the law paper first, and then you have to basically go for the previous year papers and just figure out which topics, basically from which topics they are asking questions regularly. Just focus upon that, because you cannot go through each and every subject completely. So you have to, as Bala sir was mentioning, you have to maintain the balance of your, you can say, energy. Okay, your the time balancing approach, time management approach. So for that purpose, you have to basically just figure out what exactly happens in case of these exams. So the only last and final advice to all of you is, I have seen number of coaching centers. What exactly they do? They simply repeat previous year papers by rephrasing them, and they provide it to the candidates. And candidates might be saying, "Oh, sir is basically giving us a number different kind of questions, and we know every answer," because these are repeating. So when you are repeating these questions continuously, so whenever you are facing that kind of question in, you can say, rephrased manner once again, then your mind is very clear that this answer is basically this thing. So the last and final word of mine is, I request and I advise all of you, please do previous year papers religiously, continuously, and I say 5 times or 10 times. And then you are not supposed to basically cover each and everything, because in the exam they basically focus upon the main thing and they do not focus upon each and every topic. So they focus upon the main topics, that is one thing. And second, the previous year papers, you should be clear about the previous year papers. So that is my advice to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable and detailed observation on this subject. Since law is the only discipline where things are constantly reshaping, despite this, you have covered the subject, its scope and preparation in best possible manner. Thank you so much. I am sure the participants will duly follow your instruction and will come up with flying colors. Thank you so much, Rajni sir. And I once again sincerely thank both our panelists for their comprehensive observations. Now I open the forum for question and answer session. Participant may please post your questions on the chat box and we'll take up your questions.
So, Amit, I
Yeah.
could see that there are 3 questions that I have with me. The participants have posted these questions earlier. So I'm reading them one by one. Okay?
Yeah, please.
So the first one is, I have not much interest in taxation law. What is the best way to prepare for it for the NET? So this question is, I think Bala sir, would you like to answer this question?
No, it's taxation law is for, like, it's related to law, I guess.
Taxation law is not in the syllabus of the UGC NET.
Yes.
Fine. Let us switch to another one. How to prepare for the section on mathematical and reasoning if the student is from the humanities background?
Fine, sir.
So, yes, Balasi, please go ahead.
See, mathematical reasoning, many of them are averse about mathematics. They feel that they are not good at mathematics or they're weak at mathematics. See, try to understand, how do you know about whether you are good or weak at mathematics? It is always the other's opinion. Your parents could have told you, your teachers could have told you that you are not good at the particular subject. But it is all you who have to decide whether you are excellent or not. But practice requires in mathematics. One thing is, up to 10th level mathematics, if you are good at, that is more than enough. If not so, you get practice with that. Speed max and the important areas which I told you, that would help you to crack the particular unit. Got it?
All right. Yeah. So another question I have for Rajni sir. So
Yes.
some participant is asking that recently we have observed that there are many questions on English. The syllabus is too vast and new. How to cover that smartly?
English question.
Yeah.
Paper
English?
one.
Paper one. It is in paper one.
Paper one.
So Bala sir.
So here, what do you mean by many questions on English? I think all the questions are in English and Hindi, but I don't get the context.
All right. There's nothing specific that has been asked in the question. So
No, many questions on English. What does it mean?
That's what I'm saying, sir. There's nothing specific the participant has asked. So I can't say anything on that. So there are other questions also which are coming in the chat box. Any suggestions for students who are still in college and wish to aim in future? Rajni sir, would you like to answer this?
Yes. Ashish ji, I just want to mention one thing.
Yeah, please.
students who are in the college right now, they should basically do one thing. If you have time with you, then start preparing your notes. So whatever you are basically doing, so just prepare your notes. Only your notes will help you out at the time of the exam. See, when we are basically appearing for the exam, and on the very, like you can say, on the very same day of the exam, we basically face a lot of, you can say, mental pressure, because we have not basically prepared the exam from the MCQ perspectives. As Bala sir was correctly mentioning that basically for the subjective and the descriptive questions, what is the biggest issue which we face in the exam? If you are not basically well versed with the knowledge of you can say the appearance of this objective type questions, then eventually you face a burden in the at the time of exam. So my advice is, if you are in the college right now, just start doing your preparation from the exam perspective. Remember one thing, from the exam perspective, do not start preparing like, oh, I have to prepare family law, so just start preparing Poonam Pradhan Saxena. Do not go for reading Poonam Pradhan Saxena entirely. You have to focus upon the contents of each and every subject. Number one. Number two, prepare your notes completely. And then third point is, start doing start solving the previous year papers. So once you start solving the previous year papers, then eventually your mind is basically automatically getting a lot of, the information automatically. So just try to attempt the mock test. Even this NTA, the National Testing Agency, they have provided the mock test on their website, because it is now online. So all of you can go to the mock test or this online platform and appear for the mock test exam simply. And even they have a number of mock test exams with them. It is free of cost. Anyone can appear. So just go for that. Okay.
All right. Another question for you, Rajneesh sir. It is
Yeah.
from a participant named Deepak Bansal, and he's asking, kindly tell us, do we need to learn each and every article of
No,
the
no,
UN
no,
Charter?
no,
Yeah.
no, not at all. Deepak, I want to advise you. You are not supposed to learn each and every article. I'm simply telling you, just go through previous year papers. You will find only they are asking few articles from the UN Charter. And my only advice is, just leave it, because you will be facing only two or three questions out of this UN Charter articles. And if you are basically observing the pattern of there, you can say the writing of the articles in UN Charter, just analyze the pattern. And as Bala sir was saying, just eliminate the incorrect answer. Okay, by eliminating the incorrect answer, you will come with the correct one. So for example, as I was saying, rights of a person. So rights, definitely they appear in the beginning of the articles, and the penalties at the last. So by analyzing this pattern, you can just solve these two or three questions. So I don't think so. For solving two or three questions, you should remember each and every article of the UN Charter. But what you can do, by just simply recalling from the previous year papers, you can simply get an idea which article they are focusing upon. So just go for that only. Otherwise, leave it. My only advice, because we have to manage the time and energy balance.
All right. So, sir, we have another live question from Miss Suchi. So, Miss Suchi, would you please turn on the camera and ask the question?
Okay, am I audible?
Miss Suchi, you there?
Yeah.
Yes, you're perfectly audible. Please ask.
Probably bad network, so I can't turn on the camera. This is a question
No
to
problem.
Rajneesh, sir. I'm not very well versed with the kind of case laws being asked in the net law paper, that is paper 2. Could you please throw some light on the case laws which are asked, and what are the strategies we can prepare?
Shruti, this is the main point which you are asking right now. The UGC net papers, if you analyze the previous year papers, maximum weightage they give to the previous year papers. Number one, for the preparation of the case laws, what actually I am saying, for example, if they are asking about the MC Mehta cases, so just as I mentioned you, and even I have given the link of the DU study material on this Google chat. Just download those books. On the books, the table of contents. In the table of contents, what actually DU has done, DU has given you a list of the landmark judgments in a particular subject, and they are basically given topic wise. So for example, if I talk about, for example, this air pollution or like this Environmental Protection Act specifically, so they have basically given the cases under particular topic. So what you will get basically from that particular file, you will be getting an idea what kind of cases they are asking, number one, and what case is basically relevant with a particular, which case is basically linked with a particular topic. So next step is just pick up a book, any of the book of the environmental law of your choice. Even Duggi will help you out. I will not say they are not basically good one. Even a lot of persons who are preparing for the judiciary, even they refer the Duggis. So please do not take these books. You can say these are only for like the persons who are not serious. Even a number of persons who are appearing for the judiciary exams and who have cracked this judiciary exam, they refer even Duggi. Okay, so my point is, in the Duggi, what is the main thing is, you will get the crisp idea of the entire case. So because in, for example, in the AK Jain Duggi or in the single Duggi, what they have done, they have basically at the end of the chapter, what they have provided with the title of the you can say citation of the case, then facts of the case, issue of the case, then comment and analysis, the conclusion, judgment part. So you can focus only upon the citation, then facts, then issue, and finally judgment. No need of going through the comment if you are only going for the exam. But for your knowledge perspective, you should be very well aware about all such things. So remember one thing, cracking exam is one thing and knowledge is something else. So please do not mix both of the things. In the exams, they are basically checking out your basic knowledge. They do not expect you to be the doctor of each and every subject. Am I clear, Suchi?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Very useful information.
Thank you.
Another question.
So Bala sir, there's
if I can ask.
please go ahead.
Yeah, so my next question is from Bala sir. Bala sir, how do we really prepare this general knowledge for paper one? Because as much as we prepare, it seems very less. You know, some new questions crop up, and they generally GK questions are very tricky. So, is there any tip for that?
Okay.
Also, Bala sir, I would like to add to this question. There's another participant who is asking one more thing. The options given in the English comprehension section are confusing. How to improve the preparation for the same?
Okay. See, the first question is, you said general awareness or general knowledge, right? So
Yes.
it's from current affairs.
Yes.
One question is from environment, they will ask for sure, and another question is from higher education is for sure. So for this minimum, I could say the last 6 years, 6 months news events are most important. So that's number one. But these are the only two questions. But the time you are going to invest for these two questions are much more than other units. So if you're a regular newspaper reader, a regular news watcher, then it won't be much tough. Or you are occasionally going through the newspaper, then it would be a difficult area. Fine. And second question, the options given in the English comprehension sections are confusing. I don't know why it is confusing. See, the questions like mood of the author, mindset of the author, a topic of the passage is definitely confusing. I agree with you, because English is not our mother tongue. It's our second language. But other four questions, definitely I don't think this confusion would exist. If this confusion exists, do one thing, the strategy which I told you, you should not read the entire passage. You should read the question, search for the answers inside the passage, so that you don't study any unnecessary paragraphs. Clear? If you're reading the entire passage, then that leads to confusion. And your words per minute, as I said, it ranges from 40 to 120. I mean, the reading and grasping speed, the reading and understanding speed I'm talking about, if that is comparatively lesser, then you feel the difficulty in reading comprehension area. Otherwise, the answer is just in front of you.
Thank you very much, sir.
So I think that's all with the question and answers for now, and I should move
Sir, I have a
ahead.
question. Am I audible?
Yeah, there's hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yes,
Saurabh,
Saurabh.
go ahead.
Yes, Saurabh. Please ask the question.
Sir, am I audible?
You're audible.
Yes, you are.
Sir, my question is to Rajnish, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, in the December NET Law Paper 2019, there was a set of questions, MCQs, based on Part 18 of the Constitution of India, that is emergency. Sir,
Yes,
will
yes.
you suggest any guide or book which consists of such MCQs for practice? And secondly, there were questions which were asked to put in chronological order. For example, PITA, Child Labor Act, FEMA, put them in a chronological order. Such questions were not seen before, especially the one which are based on comprehension type
Okay,
nature. So, will you
okay,
suggest any book or guide?
okay, Saurabh. Okay, I just
Thank
want
you,
to
sir.
like highlight you like what kind of questions they ask in the paper. If you go by the previous year patterns, then they basically the focus is upon the direct and conceptual questions. It is nearly earlier it was more than 50%. The weightage was more than 50%. But in the last year, actually, it is being mentioned. The last year paper, December 19 paper, was the difficult one, the most difficult one, because in that paper they have asked the, you can say, the multiple correct kind of questions. And second, they were basically asking questions from the, you can say, match the following or the statement based questions. So whatever you are asking right now, like the number one, the book from which you can prepare all such kind of question, I have mentioned about the universal book, the previous year papers book, or even the single publication book. You can basically get the previous year papers as well as some mock test papers. Number one. Number two, we all are living in the information technology age nowadays, and there is a plenty of resources available over the internet. Plenty of resources. Just Google it out. Just simply write UGC net law sample papers or mock test papers. A lot of websites or lot of companies are providing free material. That is one thing. Another thing is to attempt these kind of questions. Just focus upon one thing, Sora. We have to make a balance of each and every subject, because you cannot simply focus upon a particular thing. These mock test papers, or you can say, once in a blue moon, we basically face such kind of things. But ultimately, if we analyze the entire previous pattern, then we simply have this weightage of each and every subject. So their focus is nearly 10% for each and every category except criminal law. In the criminal law part and in the constitution part, the weightage is more than 15%. More than 15%. So what I mean to say, for example, in constitution, I'm basically giving this suggestion to all of you. Even this is not basically valid, but anyhow, you can join this Telegram, and in the Telegram, you can simply figure out a lot of channels who are providing various kind of like the PDF files to prepare for the exam. Even there are various, you can say, groups on the Telegram who are basically conducting the quizzes on daily basis. So you can even participate in those quizzes. These are the live quizzes. So this is another thing. So for the purpose of the preparation of these kind of questions, we have plenty of resources with us. So my only advice is we have to just use the technology in the best possible manner. Next point is, if we talk about like specifically about a particular topic, this sometimes happens. Then they generally ask many questions from a particular topic, but this happens only, you can say, this is a luck by chance, you can say. So you do not take this particular thing seriously, because just remember one thing: we have to make the optimum balance of everything. Then only you will be able to crack this exam. Otherwise, it is not possible if we go by each and every article. Remember one thing. Once again, I'm repeating: we are not chitti, because we are not the computer. We cannot remember each and every article of UN Charter or the other conventions. So it is not feasible, not advisable. Just see and analyze what exactly is the pattern of those articles. That's all. Saurabh, anything else you would like to ask?
No, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There's one more question that I'll quickly take from Deepak Bansal. So he asked about some strategies with respect to IPR law as well, because in recent past, the number of questions are increasing from this part in paper two.
Ashish, shall I reply or shall Bala sir? Bala sir?
Yes, sir.
Bala sir, would you? Please go ahead, sir. Should I repeat that question, sir?
Yes, Ashish, please,
Yes,
please,
yes, yes.
please.
All right. The question goes like, sir, share some strategy with respect to IPR law as well, because in the recent past, there are a number of questions which are increasing from the part in paper 2.
In IPR, if you see, I was analyzing the IPR and IT law. The heading of this subject is IPR and IT law. In IPR and IT law, I just want to highlight the syllabus to you. And if you see the syllabus, it covers everything. And the entire weightage of this topic is only 7 marks. In the last year paper, the December 19 paper, the questions which were asked from this particular subject was only 7 questions. Out of 7 questions, I'm telling you the fact. Out of 7 questions, you can say from the IT law there was only one question, and the 6 questions were from in IPR. In the IPR, the focus is upon, you can say, just take an example: trademark only 2 questions, patent only 1 question, okay, copyright only 2 questions, and geographical indication 1 question. Now coming to the main point, if we talk about the geographical indication, so what is the latest advancement in the geographical indication, or what is happening right now in geographical indication? So which kind of things have been received geographical indication tag mark right now? Like for example, in Pune, sorry, in Goa, the Goa banana, it has received geographical indication tag. So this is the focus of UGC net as well upon this kind of question. For example, copyright. So in case of copyright, or in case of trademark, or in case of, you can say, this patent, okay, so you cannot simply lay down any specific rule, or you can say any specific strategy that the questions will be coming from this particular thing. But if you analyze the pattern, so what exactly they are asking, they are not basically delving into the technicalities of these things. They are not basically going into in depth. They are simply asking, well, like for example, patent. So the main, you can say, the requirement of a patent, the novelty, the innovation, okay, these kind of questions they are asking. So just my only advice is, please try to analyze the question, ki what exactly they are asking. They are not asking each and everything from the syllabus. They are simply asking, you can say, very basic fundamental things. So if your fundamentals are strong enough, then you can crack this exam in the first attempt. Okay.
All right, thank you, sir. So we are very grateful to Bala sir, who would like to leave this meeting for now. So Bala sir, thank you so much for being here and enlightening us with all the knowledge regarding the topics that you have covered today. Thank you so much, sir. We are very grateful to you.
Thank
FFB
you,
is
sir.
really
Thank you,
grateful to you.
Thank you,
We'd
participants.
like to
All the
have you
best.
again. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So
Thank you, Ashish ji.
moving. All right. So, sir, there's the program is still
Okay,
going
okay,
on. Moving ahead, there's a yeah. So moving ahead, I would like to tell you more. FFD, since its inception, has been dedicated to the cause of empowerment of youth and education. The vision of the organization has been that more students take up higher education. They are also encouraged to take up research as a professional choice. To meet this vision, FFD has yearned to develop a robust learning system that empowers and enables students towards success in the first step, towards teaching and research career in higher education, and that is NET-JRF. Our aim and goal is to help students be successful in NET and yearn for a better future prospect. Learn FFD is a system that is not only inclusive and user-friendly, but its multi-layered course curriculum and customized test series provides holistic learning experience for every aspirant. Now, I would request Ms. Anjali Chehel to brief you all about the FFD Learn. Ms. Anjali?
Thank you, Ashish. A very good evening to all the participants. I'm Anjali Chehel, Advisor, Forum for Democracy. I would like to share briefly the web application Learn FFD for the preparation of UGC NET exam conducted by NTA. Learn FFD is a versatile platform with good quality of content questions to assist the aspirants of NET JRF in cracking the exam. I would request the technical team to kindly share the screen.
Yes, they are doing that.
Thank you so much. I would like you all to please look at the screen, which is the web link for Learn FFT, which shows a web application developed by FFT. You can register yourself on this page. The link is learn.fft.org.in. Learn FFT will provide you with test series containing questions from all the subdisciplines of law for the next 15 days once you have registered. We will also provide you with the assessment reports based on the performance of students. The analytics will be shared with the participants so that you can self-assess the gray areas or weak points in your preparation so far. 30 questions in each test series will be shared every day with the participants to assess your preparation level. And the more you practice, the more number of questions will be shared with you. Students can practice the test series of law along with paper 1. A coordinator will be there to answer your queries via email, and customized sets of test series will also be shared with participants to help improve the preparation for the weak areas. Since UGC NET exam takes place twice in a year, keeping aside the exceptional circumstances during COVID-19, Learn FFT also offers professional training for NET aspirants in the field of law, social work, and political science, along with paper 1. This will be a 6-month program for preparing you for the next academic session of UGC NET exam, which will tentatively take place in December. Thank you everyone for your time. I wish you all the best for the exam. I'll end by saying the more you practice, the better results you'll achieve. Thank you. Over to you, Ashish.
Thank you, Ms. Anjali. Thank you so much. For those who are asking for the feedback forms, we'll provide you with the feedback forms through emails. The details of Learn FFD would also be displayed at the end of the program. As we reach towards the conclusion of this program, I would like to extend my sincere thanks on behalf of Forum for Democracy to each one of you. Our resource persons, especially Dr. S. Balamurli, who has just left, and Mr. Rajneesh Jindal. Sir, you were incredible. Thank you. Thank you. It was a very, very informative session. We are very grateful for, for you coming and enlightening us. My special thanks to the students, volunteers, Ms. Princey Agrawal and Ms. Preeti, who played an important role in successful follow-up of the sessions. My heartfelt thanks to all the participants for showing their interest in the program. We end the first round of our discussion series here. Our next discussion series would be conducted on September 2nd, 2020, from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. For any further queries, feedbacks, and suggestions, kindly get in touch with us. Thank you, everyone, and very best wishes from FFD Learn for your upcoming examination. Technical team is requested to display the contact details and email details. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you, Amit. And thank you,
Sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, each one of you. Thanks a lot for joining us.
So here are the details. You may take them down. Please write to us at learn@ffd.org.in.